Welcome everybody to the World of Ability Podcast Network. My name is Emily Gilmar and I'm a podcast engineer here. Excited to bring you another episode of another episode of Revolutionize Your Marketing with Mill City Marketing MA and John Petros, which we've been doing in the last several months here. And so it's kind of all about what it sounds like, all about your marketing and marketing you and your organization and promoting you and your organization and anything that is connected with that or related. But first, before we get to John, I'd like to bring in Kurt Roskopf, who is also all about marketing and a disability ally. So welcome, Kurt.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you, everybody out there. We appreciate all of you out there watching and listening to this, your Revolutionize Your Marketing program. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to add value, and I'm here to show appreciation of the value you have. We're talking about value for you as an individual, the value for you in any group and that any group that you belong to and what they represent in value for any company that you represent or own. This is about business. This is about, it could be a community organization. It could be your hobby group. It could be an event that you're promoting. These are all things that benefit from marketing. And so we're going to have a conversation here that we present to you to get your mind running about how you can position yourself, your group, your organization, your nonprofit, your for-profit, whatever is out there to connect to another and to connect to another organization, to another nonprofit, whatever it may be, to make these connections out in the marketplace, to position you, your company, and what your company provides, what your group has to offer, your organizing group with an event, and to connect it all so that everybody that can enjoy what you have and enjoy you and your team and those you're with, that's what all this is about. And we're here with the founder of Revolutionize Your Marketing and the owner, of, the marketing company that he represents. And he's passionate about marketing. And he's passionate about sharing marketing, talking about marketing, being with us in this conversation with Emily and me. And we as a team, we're going to bring out all of these nuggets that John has prepared. But again, with my value and John's passion and Emily's diligence, handling all the detail stuff while we're running along here, all the technical stuff, we're going to give you a little zing, bang, boom. And it's all to revolutionize your marketing. John, come on in here as our revolutionary marketer. What do you have for us today?
Well, I got two parts to bring up, and without realizing it, Kurt, I think you led right into them. That's how good you are. The people that have businesses, they want to build their brand. Okay, so I'm going to start off with. I'm going to read something here that I ran across online. It was put out there by Hannah Larson. Says, don't build a personal brand online if you want everyone to agree with you, can't stand being questioned, and if you want everybody to like you. When you grab the mic and start talking to the world, people will have opinions. Let them. In the beginning, it's hard. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. one day you suddenly don't care as much. And remember, people who criticize us are almost always people behind us. So do it anyways. What that's saying is when you're building your brand, expect people to disagree with you. Expect people to question what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how you're doing it. And you don't expect everybody to like it. Um, that's what she was trying to get across in that statement. I ran across that the other day online. She posted it online. And I agree with it. It's 100% correct. Um, any comments on that one, Kurt, on that part?
Well, what I would say, John, is, I feel that marketing is an art form. There's many pieces that are part of the orchestra where when you're planning and doing your marketing and you're a conductor and you're bringing in the PR and the publicity and the promotion and the advertising, the customer service, the personal selling, and you're mixing it all together and you're releasing it out to the public and certain contexts. And yeah, there's that interaction. There's marketing research. So it is very important to get to know your prospects, to get to know your audience, to get to know the public, to get to know, the commonplace and as much outside insight that you can get, the better off you are. So yes, John, when you are in that moment where you're like, I have all this in my marketing, and now we have this outlier element of feedback, and it's contradictory to what we do. It's a disagreement. It's somebody might be mad at you. They may find it offensive. You never know what the contrast is, but to be able to come into that and to celebrate that somebody was willing to go there or just maybe naturally go in there. And maybe they're talkative. Maybe they go on and on and on and on and on. When we give somebody the space to be themselves and to make their point and to finish their thought without interruption, and then we stay on their side of it and we keep building from their side, rather than trying to stay where we are and reach and pull them over. It's really hard and difficult to do that. Like try that with people, friends or whatever. Have them stand away from you and they're different, and then you try to, reach for them with your feet planted where you started from, and you're trying to reach them, and then you try to pull them over. Your chiropractor would tell you, oh, that's not good for your back. It's work. But if you go ahead and move your feet and get over there, and now you do different things to see if they can kind of come your way, eventually, you can do this little dance and all of a sudden they come your way. Now, that's not the point to win over, a an argument or a debate or mental judo or overcome objections and get them to do your thing. But when you can unpack where they're coming from and you have questions and you find more about it, John, before the show, you talked about how much a person shared about their experience and how extensive it was and extreme about how much was shared, in a work product. So I look at that if somebody's willing to share enough and you pay attention, after about 7 reiterations, if they're able to keep going, or even 3 or 5, there tends to be a place where you can say, I think I've got something that can help you with that, or I think I've got something you know, to kind of better serve what you're talking about, or I think I've got a better response, or, how about this? How about I try this? What if I relook at what we're doing And how about, would you be willing for me to try again? You know, and then to keep working it because it ends up being like a relationship. And like any relationship where you have a disagreement, there's a lot of listening and there's a lot of thought, and it takes creativity to come back with a solution. So just like any business person, success is built on how well you get out of the problem, and your business is right there to solve an issue. That's the nature of starting a business.
Yeah.
you know,
I,
Solve a need or problem and you can build a business on it. So when you're in the business, you got to make each little interaction, a microcosm of that bigger concept.
yeah. I remember one time I put a post out on Facebook, I believe it was, and it's like almost instantly I got a response back. Something I can't remember the exact wording, but it was something like, "Hey jerk, stop spamming my site." Now, how many people are on Facebook that would see that message that I put out there? And one person didn't like it. Did it bother me? No. I just continued on with what I was doing. But anyways, the other thing I wanted to mention was another post that I ran across this past week. Was put on by, I know I'm going to mess this name up, Fabi Paolini. They're a brand strategist. How to build an authentic business that you're passionate about. They listed 5 things. First one, find your passion and a purpose. Discover what brings you true joy. Number 2, be unapologetic. Do what it takes to make your dreams come true. Number 3, build a brand around you. Bring your uniqueness to your business. That makes me think of the 3 words that you hear quite a bit when you're building a brand. Your customers first want to know you, then they turn around once they know you, they like you. Then once they like you, they can trust you and they'll do business with you. That's building a brand around you. Number 4, shine and be seen, which means get out of your comfort zone. If it's comfortable, it may not always work the best way for you. You have to be uncomfortable and force yourself to do what needs to be done. Number 5, work from your heart. How do you serve and impact others? From your heart. It says, stop conforming and settling for less than your dreams. People can smell when you're not being real from a mile away. They get turned off by you instantly and don't even know why. The reason why is that they will feel when you're not being honest about who you are and what you love. They will notice that you don't really care. And that's true. They will be able to pick up if you're lying or not, if you're telling the truth about who you really are. What's your comments on that one, Kurt?
Well,
You explain things a lot better than I do.
well, it's always effective, John, that, in business, like if you run a call center, or if you experience call centers, depending on what the product or service is, a lot of times with services, they'll do what's called third party verification. So you'll be with a customer service representative and then get down where everything's falling right in line and it's ready to just finish this thing. They'll say, all right, now, if you don't mind, I need to do they don't always call it third party, but they say something along the lines of a verification. Then we sit there and hold, and then another manager or something comes on because they want to make sure that there's not, just say he said, she said, by having a third person involved, it offers some quality control, quality assurance that everything is in line and the things aren't gonna go south just because the customer service rep made a mistake, misunderstood, maybe lapse of attention or something, missed something. So they run through that verification. So, you talk about how I explain it better. I appreciate the compliment. And I've been working hard for all the time I've been, in communication, in my life that, I try to be effective, but there is something of an advantage, I have because you're setting up all the building blocks. And then, so you're teeing up the ball's sitting on the tee like the little kids use. And then I just get to knock it out, or like in basketball where you dribble, 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 got a player doing all the hard work, and then all of a sudden the ball pops up in the air, and then you see these NBA players go slam dunk, and the guy who does the slam dunk is like, oh my gosh, that is so awesome. But it was the assist that made it happen. So what an assist, John, But I say this stuff not to just make, casual idle banter in the show. I say this to say that to me, you know, stories and the way you can color it up and, using analogies that draws people in. And there was a piece of what you said that gets me thinking of energy. You know, you're a ball of energy. If you get down to matter and what makes up the matter that makes up, all the cells in the tissue we have is, atoms. And, it's all built up. If you really break it down to its smallest component, you got a neutron, a proton, electrons, and, but it's to make a point that we're energy. So marketing benefits from if you can give it energy. Now, you made a point there about, sensing, phoniness or a little bit of off, or, you really are one thing, but then you're interacting and you're kind of shifting out of your existence and you're kind of playing a role or a character and you're kind of interacting in a way that's, lacking that groundedness to you. And whoever is in this moment with you, we sense it. And so I can share that decades ago, like 20 years ago and further back, I heard about with the MS Society for Multiple Sclerosis that through that organization was told a research project. And the way the story goes is that these monkeys come in at a table, and one monkey is given bananas to eat and enjoy, and the other monkey is on the other side of the table, and no bananas. but and then they got all this biofeedback stuff on them, and they started to notice something with this eating and not eating thing, and then brain activity, and all the other biometrics, all the biological, readings on their machines, was that there was quite a correlation between the observer and the doer, and so when I hear this story, I try to come up with my own, I call it the special K way to explain it, so I think of empathy. That makes me think of empathy. And so I give it a name called an empathetic drive. See, to me, that's an inclination. So like when you're doing this show, John, and I'm listening to you, I do shows too. And I can relate to you trying to send this marketing message. And I'm sitting here listening and I got an empathetic drive. Like how would I say it if I was in John's place, type of thing. So even though you're talking, I'm listening, I'm relating to you, and then I'm thinking about how I know you. So I'm also able to compare, like you do this show every week. And I'm like, how is he doing right now compared to last week? And when you have different guests, it's interesting to see, how you react to one guest for another and these different topics, we can get a sense of your comfort zone, because we know comfort and we can read it on you when you're comfortable. So yeah, I think that's true. And I think I'm self-conscious, at times when I'm kind of in a conversation that takes me out of where I feel, as much as I'm going to be 53 November 30th. So as much as I've had these decades of experience, I'm like, ooh, this group or this person's kind of taken me somewhere where, wow, they're really stretching me. But I'm always about giving it that old college try, And I've been recognized for being very good at the game Balderdash. Are you familiar with that game, Balderdash?
No.
Balderdash is a game where you play with a group, and then somebody is that person like you're talking about that can call somebody's bluff, or like today in politics, they're always about the fact checker, right? And we're always kind of listening to politicians. We're kind of like, I don't know if that's right. I'm going to Google that. We're going to fact check, what that candidate just said, right? So Balderdash is kind of that same type of thing where the card comes out and it's got a word and a definition, or whatever the trivia thing is. And then,
Yeah.
so that's the fact that the game is telling you this is the fact. And so now when you're the person ready to, um, provide that balderdash, you're sitting there trying to create, a response answer for that fact, that trivia question, and provide a response that your words and the way it reads, it's like, that's got to be the truth. But the card is the truth. And then you're putting on your own card your version of the truth. And then the other players get to put their version of the truth. And then the one player has to collect these cards, and they're all presented equally. And now they have to read through that handful of possibilities, like a multiple choice test. And they have to figure out, they're going to pick which one is the truth. And so you have the card that is the official record of the truth, and then you have your answer. If you happen to know the truth, well, then you get the points for that. But these things tend to be at a challenging enough level that typically nobody at the table knows the answer. That's how Balderdash is built. But I have been really good at getting my friends that I'm playing with or family to pick my answer instead of the real answer. How cool is that? So there's all that kind of stuff, and you hear about, like, on movies and TV. Once in a while, you're in a show where they bring in a lie detector thing, right? And then you see how some people are actually able to fool the lie detector machine. Now that's really something. I don't know how to do that, but it's fascinating to see this played out on TV or, in that fictional environment, but they do it so well. It's like, oh my gosh, they fooled the machine. What a concept, and
Yeah.
I'm just figuring it can't comes to be, because I'm thinking in life there must be people who can really do that, for that to come up in movies and whatever. So I think everyday conversation is kind of that same thing. Like, is that balderdash? Is that not true? Like, are you the fact checker here? Like, putting John in check because, John, I don't know if what you just said is accurate. I don't think I'm going to walk away. And then in life, you say, there's Emily's truth, there's Kurt Roskopf's truth, there's John's truth, and then there's his truth. The Heavenly Father's truth, or whatever, the universal real truth, right?
Just to let you know, too, it is possible to cheat the lie detectors.
I figured. I've never in real life met somebody who could do that, but you see it all the time in
I
shows. People do that, yeah.
I used to work with the local police department years back, and I got to know a lot of the detectives, and they said, yeah, it has been done. Very rarely, but it has been done.
Yeah, and then the
Takes a
thing is, John, is that there's a person using the machine And so the person that fools the machine also fools the person, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So
But
that's really something. So there is
they always
something to
manage to
how we
find out.
present. What's that?
They always manage to find out after the fact, though. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's evidence and it's putting pieces of the puzzle together and and then when you take that process and all the detail answers and everything and then you put it with all the other evidence, it's like something doesn't seem right. It's kind of like the saying, I don't know, I say like if it looks like a pig, smells like a pig, feels like a pig, sounds like a pig, if it's at all the senses of a pig, well, it's a pig, but it's the other way. Which of these do not belong? You got that side of it too. That if anything's off, it's like maybe it's not a pig. You know, maybe the lipstick on the pig threw you off. Who knows? They'll put lipstick on a pig, which is a
The,
concept for marketing, right?
the rounded ears instead of the pointed ears.
What's that? The rounded ears oh, pigs have pointed ears, and if it's rounded ears, it's not a
What
pig.
is but yeah, something I was referring to earlier um, about the know, like, and trust. There's a symbol for that. K plus L plus T equals S. You know what the S is?
Smile.
Know plus like plus trust equals sales.
Oh, sales. Okay. Boy, as a marketer, I really failed, didn't I? Because the whole purpose of marketing is to make sales. That should have been the number one answer at Family Feud.
There's another one that I've heard um, deals more with mindset, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago. E plus R equals O.
Energy plus intellect equals opportunity. What do we got?
Event plus reaction equals the outcome.
Oh, okay.
If you don't like the outcome, change your reaction.
Oh, that is so true. That's just what you were talking about when you disagree. If you
Yep.
change the reaction and you make it that there's something positive to be had, you explore it, you can have an outcome where they still end up buying from you. You still make the sale based on how you reacted to them disagreeing. Just like you're talking with social media. See, if somebody disagrees with you on social media, there is the strategy of just leave it alone and just leave it out there. They disagreed and everybody can see it and figure it out themselves. There's also, like in terms of like if you get a bad rating, those that are into reputation management, first of all, they'll say get a system where somebody has a disagreement. It goes to you in the back door rather than out in the public element of it, only collect out in the public eye and then work on rectifying the issue, just like we are talking about with a negative response. See if
Yeah.
there's any opportunity or openness that they might be having any openness to allow you to find a different approach, different response, add something. There's some way to satisfy the wrongdoing, you know
Yeah.
and to bring it back in that way.
It's all turning things around to like you said, the positive side.
Now I attend, a couple times a week, a gentleman who is quite disruptive in how he works with some of these concepts, and he gives a lot of things a different twist, and he gives a twist to what you were talking about, um, with no like and trust. He talks about his efforts and his trainings are to position and open up that capacity that they can immediately like. Because of what you're talking, like we're talking about the energy, that
Yeah.
emotional connection, that they maybe don't know a lick about you, but there's something about how you're showing up. Like sometimes at eulogies, you'll hear like somebody who would just always light up a room, you know. So it's that emotional experience. And even in communication, they say communication is like what, 95%, 90 or 95% nonverbal. So
Yeah.
it's like all that nonverbal stuff builds up to give the context to the content of what you say. And so I like the way he does that. I mean, he's very specific. He elaborates on it enough that, I mean, obviously for right out of the gate, if you're just gonna, give a rule and have people run with the rule without explanation, it's more intuitive to say know, like, and trust. But the idea is, if you kind of say like, and then like you say that there's that instinct, there's that gut instinct. So you can actually go like, and then at least some sort of nudge to trust, even if there's that scruple saying, I want to, verify, type of thing, which they say in the military, trust but verify. There is that thing, but that's where he tries to go with his marketing flair, is he's like, really figure out how you can honestly and truly and really, fitting for the other person, create something for an immediate like, and then, quick trust, and then build how you're building that opportunity for them to know you off of those first impressions. Like
Yeah.
the whole thing of, hey, you had me at hello, you know, to be ready for that moment, that magic. You feel the electricity and the excitement, and it just seems right. You just get a sense of it. It's just like, you're just like, I like it. I trust this guy. You want to have that preparation to get into the urge of a person and draw them in right away to like and trust you. But then you do have it is real that it's not going to last very long unless you're right away giving them a great way to know you. Yeah.
That actually could actually be extended out one more step. Know, like, and trust. I just had it. I just had it on my mind too, but I wanted to add on to it.
Well, I mean, I can see where if you get me thinking of next steps, it's the power of suggestion thing. So you open up the space that there's another step. So I'm sitting here, what is he gonna say? And so I mean the thing, like you said, sales, like you put the S in there. To me,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, how about know, like, trust, and do, or receive, participate, something. Because you can build that know, like, and trust, and then totally not productive. If you just go around, everybody just knows, if 100% of people know, like, and trust you, and you're very successful at that, and nobody actually buys your product or hires you to do their marketing, with Mill City Marketing MA, if nobody comes in to, take advantage of your value, it's like, well, then you created a social enterprise. You created a hobby,
Yeah.
to go around and everybody knows, likes, and trusts you. So that's the other part where this applies to marketing, where I've said before, several weeks ago, I was like, attention, interest, desire, action. So if you can kind of think about what we talked about, and what's happening initially, that you've got and you've commanded their attention, and then you're building on their interests. So that's where the liking thing comes in. And then you build off of their desires, or decision development. That's the DAIDA. And then all of this, these 3 steps to then say, all right, if you're that far along, it's time to find out if they're ready to hire EC or EC. That's our friend Christian. So Mill City Marketing MA.
I know what I was going to say about that now.
All right.
No plus like plus trust equals sales plus provide value equals long term.
Yeah. Yeah. So in the short term, most likely the concept is delivered to, as a marketer, understand the short term, but it still applies long term too. But there's something called post purchase dissonance. So the idea is that, we as people, we really, whether we are conscious of it or not, just in an innate way, we like to be proud of our decisions. So like when we buy a car, we like to drive down and be proud that we got this car, even if it's not a big deal car, but maybe you got a great price for it or something. There's always something in what we decide to do, like to say, I hired Mill City Marketing MA. There tends to be something where, as you, John, are serving us year in and year out, we tend to take pride in that we found a great guy like John, and whatever. And then that's where in business, our inclination is to refer, to say, hey, Emily, I'm really happy with what John does. He does a lot of great things for my marketing. Emily, what about you? Why don't you get John for your marketing? I'd be happy to give you a professional, business introduction. But this post-purchase dissonance thing, the other thing in this concept is the moment of truth. So the idea is that if you get attention, interest, desire, action, and they purchase, you made the sale, now they have your product, they're in your program, whatever it is, software as a service, who knows what it is, and they're going along, and then now they're regretting it. Now they're starting to look at other alternatives that they didn't bring into the mix before choosing it. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I think there's another person I would have been better off going with. And then they have the reasons. And then they're like get disappointed in you, John, like, oh, John missed something, or, for what my company does, this marketing approach is a little bit more to my second thoughts, now that I rethink of it, I'm evolving my opinions, and then now, they're inclined to shift, but there too, if we can stick with this relationship, this client, and have things where there's evaluation and, surveying them, checking in, making sure all along the way that they're happy, not assume that, oh, we made the sale, the idea is that you pretty much have to sell them over and over and over again for their experience using your product, their experience in your monthly service, whatever it is. You got to make sure, to your point, that you're earning that they're sticking with you for the long run. Like there's people out there, getting out of marketing. But to have an analogy that does apply to a marketing capacity is look at an investment broker or a financial person, and then you're with somebody for years. And I'm speaking from experience. You stick with somebody for years, and then you got these people who are building this relationship with you, and you're used to saying, oh, I'm all set. You know, I'm with I'm with so and so, or not even saying that, but I'm all set. And I'm just going to stick with it. But then you kind of, for me, it came pretty lackluster. And then I started to think, you know what? I think it's time to shift, because this person really earned my money today. And I really should be making a shift. And my other friend didn't do anything for, like in this case, we're talking like a dozen years, you know. my daughter is 15 years old, and it's like, pretty much through the duration of my 15-year-old daughter's life, no contact. So then I'm like, it was fine when I had no qualms about continuing the strategy. It was a sound strategy for all those years, but now it's like, you know what? You know, I'm kind of dealing with midlife and 50 years old, whatever, and just kind of different things to consider when you're like a decade away from that retirement thing. And you start to shift the thing, and no contact. So marketing is the same way, that you have to understand that for a person in a demographic, it may be something that applied in that collection of circumstances and their identity, but then something changes, whether it's a divorce or could be shifting religions. You never know what it is. It could be a change in their employment, changing companies. Who knows what it is, a change in position in the company. So now the responsibilities to the company are different if you're not dealing with the owner, whatever like that. So that's again that market research, which marketing needs to have solid in customer service, because if you don't have anybody that's in charge of your customer service experiences, and they're not equipped to pick up on this while they're having the conversation with it could be a prospect. Sometimes customer service reps are, dealing with a prospect, even though it's in a sales consideration. But for sure, your customers and clients, you got to have those checkpoints that you have your staff, ready to come in on. Or if you're a
Yeah.
one-man shop, a one-person operation, chief cook and bottle washer thing, then for yourself to not kind of get lulled to sleep, and then all of a sudden somebody or some list of your clients are exiting because you're losing that attention that they appreciated when you first brought them on, when you first had that little bit of drive because there was a sales opportunity.
Yeah,
And then you take
exactly.
it for granted that they're going to pay you the next time around when you send them that bill or invoice. And then all of a sudden they're like, not so much. Thanks, Kurt, but I'm going to go with John.
It's true. Just like we just went to our accountant behind a little bit on the taxes, and still owe him from the last one that he did for us. But we've been with him long enough where he says, "All right, when you get it, just drop it off to me. And we'll just keep going on with what we have."
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing with marketing, when you really have, a mastery and it's just so comfortable and becomes a part of you with marketing, to me, I see the opportunity to recognize that really, every single person, really 8 billion people on the planet, are in marketing, so to speak. We're talking more in a novice sense. I mean, obviously, John, you're a marketing professional. So, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, when you're in marketing and you put that in, like, what's your role and you're in marketing, that's a professional declaration. But, kind of in a casual, street smart sense, the entire 8 billion of us on the planet are in marketing because, if you're looking for a job, what are you doing? You're marketing yourself. They
Yeah,
say sales wise that when you're courting or dating, you're basically selling there, like with all these dating sites, and you're putting a profile together. You're kind of using a little, sales strategy to be like, I want to do myself justice, or nobody's gonna, you know, keep interacting with me to, go on a date or to build a relationship because I don't know how to sell myself. And the way I go about it, it's not attractive, right? So that's a little bit of the flair that, us marketers, put into the business arena is to help people. So no matter what role they have, if they're the janitor, if they work in a kitchen, or if they're an IT person, or, like Emily's a virtual assistant, podcast engineer, scheduler, and so forth. That there's a lot of marketing acumen that can be attached to every position within your sphere. And a marketer can go into, medical or industrial or whatever and have value at any table because there's a marketing piece for whatever job anybody has. Right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think that will do our show for today. It's getting close to the 6 o'clock hour here.
All right, we got our 6 fix. So we'll go with the lady that does some bartending and serves up the 6 packs. Just saying that. Just trying to get Emily's attention here to do our outro wrap up. We call this the OMG EMG moment. Emily's middle name is M. Does the M stand for marketing? I don't know. Keep in touch with Emily and find out. Take it away, Emily.
To thank everybody tuned in today. And again, we are here every Friday at 4 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Eastern. And we'd love to have you come on as a guest on this show or any of our other shows in the network. And also check out our website, social media, doing Facebook, YouTube, like, share, comment, and so on, as well as the other we're working with, like Zach Clayton on the Pack channel, Marcus R. with Transforming Media, Jay, there's Ability channel, Lawrence Wiggate, Renegade Studios, and Earl Williams, the Midwest Plainsman podcast. The great work that they're doing. But until next week, I hope everybody has a safe and productive week and to stay happy.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.